I couldn't find anywhere on the internet that said that you can make rice and beans together in the Instant Pot. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. My name's Kristen, and today's video is going to be about making rice and beans in the good old Instant Pot. If you don't have an Instant Pot, I highly recommend getting one. It's like an electric pressure cooker. It's really easy to use. It's really easy to clean. It saved me tons of money and time. I love the shit out of it. So if you don't have an Instant Pot, then this recipe might not be for you, but if you do, I know there's a lot of you who do, then this recipe is for you, because I looked it up and I couldn't find anywhere on the internet that said that you can make rice and beans together in the Instant Pot. It was kind of like, no, this isn't really a thing, and I tried and it didn't work, and it's not gonna work, but I was like, I'm gonna try this because I feel like it's going to work. They have similar cooking times and it would just be really easy for me, especially because I make burrito bowls a lot. So yeah, I'm just gonna do a quick little like demonstration. I was gonna make this for tonight. I was gonna prep it anyway, so I figured that I would just do a little video showing you guys how I do it in the Instant Pot. So yeah, let's just get right into the little recipe. All right, so I'm just gonna take my lid off of my Instant Pot. It's a pretty big container. I got the big one of the Instant Pot Duo, so that's the one I'm using. So yeah, really simple. I just kind of made up this recipe up and just kind of the same way I normally cook. I don't measure everything precisely. So I'll try to do my best in the description of the video with the actual recipe, but I'll just kind of tell you what I'm doing and you guys can kind of follow along. Once you start cooking for a while, you get kind of used to how you do things in the kitchen and how you like things done and all that stuff. So I'm getting low on black beans. Must add that to my list. Okay, so I'm gonna do a cup of black beans right on into the Instant Pot. And then I'm gonna do a cup of rice as well. So a cup of beans and a cup of rice. You can double this, you can triple this, you can halve this, you can quarter this, you can do whatever you wanna do to this. And then all I'm gonna do is, I don't even like measure how much water I'm putting in here. I just add water straight to here at like about a half an inch, 3/4 of an inch to an inch above, depending on how kind of like liquidy you want this to be. So you can kind of play around with it and see how much you like. You just wanna cover it by at least like a half an inch, and then that way none of your stuff will burn. So I'm just gonna cover this with like a half an inch of water. So yeah. It's about a half an inch to an inch above the rice and beans is where I put the water level. And again, you can kind of play around with this depending on how like you want yours to turn out. So now you can just kind of add whatever you want. So I have some yellow onion and some garlic. So I have like a quarter of a small yellow onion that I just like cut into little rounds, half moons. And I'm gonna put that in there. And then I'm gonna do 2 cloves of garlic as well. I like garlic and onion, so. This is kind of like a Mexican black bean style, perfect for burrito bowls and stuff like that. So that's how I'm making mine. If you don't wanna add any spices or seasonings, you don't have to, or add whatever you want. So if you don't feel like taking the time to chop up an onion and chop up some garlic, you can just use garlic powder and onion powder instead. And then I'm gonna add some cumin. So probably like a teaspoon of cumin, I would say. And some chili powder to kind of spice it up a little bit. I would probably say like a half a teaspoon, quarter teaspoon-ish of chili powder. If you don't like chili powder, don't use it. And then I also am adding some nutritional yeast because I pretty much add that to everything I make. A couple tablespoons of nutritional yeast. And then a little bit of salt and pepper. So just like maybe a quarter teaspoon of salt. And then a little bit of freshly ground black pepper, or whatever kind of black pepper you want to use. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is stir this up, just to make sure everything's kind of like evenly distributed. Stir that on up. You can add hot sauce to this, you can add cayenne, which I normally do, but today I'm just doing kind of like a simple one for people who don't like super spicy. And that's pretty much it. So you add all that stuff into your Instant Pot. Let's plug it in. So normally it takes forever to cook dried beans from scratch. You have to soak them overnight and then cook them and all of that stuff. You just put in the dried beans with your rice and everything and it totally works, which is awesome. So we turn it on and it makes all these cute little noises. So pop the lid on. I normally don't do this backwards. I can't figure out how to do this. Okay, there we go. So we're gonna pop the lid on, and when it's closed, it makes these beepy noises. And then there's a little seal on top. You wanna turn that to sealed so it doesn't start venting. And then you literally set it for 25 minutes on manual and let it go. And then 10 minutes after the pressure's released, after the little timer says 10 minutes, then turn it to venting, let the rest of the steam release and the pressure release, and then you open it up and you have delicious rice and beans ready to go. I'm going to hit manual and then the up button, and I'm just gonna time this up to good old 25 minutes. And then you don't even have to hit start or anything, it just automatically will start. So easy, so simple. So when this is done, I will show you guys the finished product, and that's what it does when you know that it started. So it takes some time to come up to pressure, and then it'll cook for 25 minutes and then take a little bit of time to come down. And then there will be a recipe in the description, and I will do a blog post on these as well soon because they've saved my life. I usually always have these on hand and I love them. Okay, we have 1 minute left, and then we're gonna release the pressure, and then I'll show you what they look like. It's getting all nice and yummy in there. It smells so good in here. Okay. So that's the beeping that will happen when it's done. And then after that, you have to wait like 10 more minutes for the pressure to release. It beeps for a hot minute. Okay, so after that, you have to wait 10 minutes for the pressure to release. And then we will release the rest of the pressure and it'll be totally done. There's a little timer right here and it actually counts up. So it'll start at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it'll count up to 10, and then after 10 minutes, we can release the rest of the pressure. All right, so it's been a little over 10 minutes and I'm about to release the rest of the pressure and show you guys the finished product. So something that I've learned that works really well, all of this is super hot, so don't touch any of this metal stuff. If you have kids, don't let them touch this. It's seriously burning hot. When you let the steam out of the vent, it's gonna be really, really hot too. So I like to use a little towel, and then you wanna turn it from sealing to venting. And when you do that, it's gonna release a lot more steam for about a minute, and then your stuff is done. Turn that with the towel and you'll hear like a bunch of pressure and steam releasing. So once that's done, then we can open up the top and look at our yummy rice and beans we just made. All right, so the pressure's done releasing, so you can open up the top and then your food is ready to go. So you can eat it right away, nice and hot and warm. I usually let it cool down and put it in a container and keep it in the fridge. That way I have it on hand for when I want burrito bowls or just like a little snack. So let's open this up and see what it looks like. Again, this is super hot. And then we just have our rice and beans in here all finished and ready to go. So I usually just give these a little stir and then they're pretty much delicious and set, and everything is perfect. The beans are cooked perfectly, the rice is cooked perfectly. It literally takes no time at all, so much less time than cooking your rice separately and your beans separately, especially from scratch. And beans, dry beans, are so much cheaper than buying canned beans, so this has been amazing for me. I highly recommend you guys try this recipe out and play around with your Instant Pot. That's what I've been doing. So I'll definitely keep doing Instant Pot recipes for you guys. If you liked this recipe, make sure to let me know in the comments below. If you have any suggestions for any videos or recipes or anything you want me to do, pop them down in the comments below and I'll definitely take notes. If you have any questions at all, let me know. I really hope you guys liked the video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and I will just see you guys in my next video. Peace. Waiting for the countdown. Ooh, should turn my phone on there, Sally. Get blowed up.